Have you ever noticed how some people can just post literally anything and their audience just agrees? I spent the last 7 days studying the best personal brands and reverse engineering why so you don't have to. And I found these 5 principles, the same 5 principles behind every successful personal brand, every political movement in history, and every marketing campaign that's ever gone viral. This isn't theory, it's documented psychology. Years ago, I used these same 5 principles in a different niche with my personal brand, and I got over 1,000 people in my free community and hundreds of people paying me monthly in a paid one. That happened because of a system, not luck and not timing. So in the next few minutes, I'm gonna hand you over the 5 principles that took me 7 days to dig up and years to prove it works. So with that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the video. So before actually getting in depth, we have to understand why. Why would the top personal brands, political movements, and marketing campaigns use psychological principles? Well, they actually use psychological principles to build followings. Like I said, a cult-like following to get people in that hypnotic state where they comply, where they say yes. I'm not saying that they cast spells like wizards, but they are pretty damn powerful because we're talking about psychological principles at the end of the day, right? And it took me a long time to figure this so that you can learn it in just 10 to 20 minutes. And before I actually get in depth, I have to give a disclaimer. People in history have used these to manipulate others, so don't do that, okay? This is just pure education on how you can build that cult-like following, cult-like personal brand, but don't manipulate people. So if the police gets you, you didn't hear anything from me, okay? So we have to move on to the first principle, which is creating our common enemy. Okay, the fastest way to bond strangers together is to give them something to bond against. Throughout history, all the greatest personal brands, greatest movements, the biggest movements have used this to actually bond people together and believe in what the leader says or what the brand owner says, etc., and make them comply. It's a survival instinct, okay? Our brain is wired the same way it was wired 1,000 years ago. We have to understand that. So why would we try to figure some new things when our brain still works the same way? So let's use this, why not, okay? And the best example from a personal brand using this is Hamza Ahmed, okay? A lot of great personal brands also use this, but this just came in my mind. He owns probably the biggest self-improvement brands for young men. He has this one common enemy that he mentioned many times in his videos. It was the corn industry, right? This one right here. He keeps saying this one thing: it is not your fault. It was the billion-dollar industry designed to keep you addicted. And that is honestly true, okay? This is what's happening in the world right now. And the reason why that one sentence is super powerful, why it's great to have one enemy, is because it removes shame from people, from his audience. It gives his audience someone to blame their problems, right? And it turns a personal struggle into a shared fight. And it's, again, that survival instinct that I talked about, okay? Our brain works the same way it worked 1,000 years ago. So he uses this regularly and it's super smart, if I'm being honest, right? And you'll find this same instinct throughout history. A lot of bad things has happened in history because of this one single principle. And essentially, wartime propaganda, political movements, is not a coincidence. It's just a proof how powerful and dangerous this principle can be when it's used irresponsibly. And this is what I meant in the beginning of this video when I said that people throughout history have used this to manipulate others. So it's super dangerous when people use it irresponsibly. Then we have polarizing. Principle number 2. You either love me or you hate me. And there's this one guy who built one of the biggest personal brands on the internet by refusing to please everyone. Andrew Tate. We probably heard about him, we probably know him, and he uses this every single day. You've probably seen his videos where he's like, women can't drive, this and that, and it's he has these super controversial takes, but it works. And also Donald Trump, the most controversial US president, okay? Everyone says that, but he still was elected 2 times. Why? Because this principle freaking works, right? Being polarizing is one of the greatest principles you can use in your personal brand, what I recommend you to do. But obviously I'm not saying that you have to say some crazy shit, but if you believe it's right, then you could potentially say it if you believe it actually moves you towards your goals and builds your personal brand. And the reason why it worked is because they said things many people would be scared to say out loud. And it worked in 2 ways. People who agreed, they became diehard fans. They're like, finally someone says what I think, so let me follow him, let me listen what he says. this guy is the guy. The funny thing is, the people who hate watched, they made these guys bigger, okay? They were like, I hate this guy, but I still watch him. I comment, I send this to every one of my friends, and I record hate videos. No way Andrew Tate said this, no way Donald Trump said this, okay? And this boosts reach even more, okay? We've all seen those videos where there's a guy hating on someone, here's how this and that, exposing this guy, okay? It all boosts their reach, okay? And people think it's risky to be controversial. Probably, okay? Everything is risky in this world. But we have to understand that throughout history, the people pleasers never actually became big, never left their name in history, okay? This is how it goes, okay? And this is pretty much the same principle I preach in my videos. If you help everyone in your personal brand, in your videos, you'll get no clients because no one sees you as the expert, no one sees you as an authority. And also, the biggest brands don't just have followers, they have an identity, okay? Principle number 3, give them a name, give your audience a name, right? We have to understand that people don't just want information, they want to belong to something. This is, again, our primal instinct. Back in the days, we were in tribes, right? If we weren't in a tribe, we would get killed by another tribe or something else, right? Super bad is going to happen. So it's still in our brain. And that's why we consistently see these big brands use this principle, okay? Taylor Swift, he has a community of Swifties. She didn't name these guys as just community members. They are now Swifties. They belong to something. And also the iOS and Mac users, the people who have an iPhone, people having a MacBook, they belong in the cult of Mac, okay? That's what a lot of the iOS users think, okay? Because they think they're superior. I have a MacBook, I have an iPhone, but you know, I do think it's better than Androids and Windows, okay? This is how it goes, right? And also the guy who I just mentioned, Andrew Tate, because he was able to build such a strong personal brand, cult-like following, he also then created his paid program, The Real World, that makes him like $5 to $10 million per month. He didn't name the members of the program as just members. He named them as hustlers. It's time to escape the matrix. The reason why this works is because a name turns a passive viewer into an active member, and the members show up, they defend the group, and they recruit others. Obviously, that's not it. Cults don't have 50 teachings. They have one single message repeated until it becomes the truth, right? Principle number 4, one message. For example, Nike. They don't say 20 things. They are not trying to explain why their running shoes are the best, why they have the best clothing for exercise. For 30 years straight, they said one thing: just do it. If you go to their page, their Instagram page, their websites, they all just repeat this one thing: just do it. And Apple had this one message: think different. This one phrase really attacked the Windows space, really attacked the PC users. This makes them feel superior, think different. And for example, CrossFit, they also have this one message that they always repeat: forging elite fitness. This is their message, and they have been repeating that for years, right? And that's why it works. Most people, when they build a personal brand, they think that, oh, I don't want to just repeat this one phrase all the time. But that's how you get known for that one thing. That's how you become an authority, and people eventually will buy your product, buy your course, your mentorship. And my one message is that I help you build a personal brand that turns your expertise into cash, right? Because this is what makes you the money. You selling your expertise, selling programs, coaching programs, courses, right? And your personal brand is your marketing tool that you get people to buy your expertise. Okay, it's simple as that. And for the people who want to actually build a personal brand that turns their expertise into cash, into a lot of money, you have to understand this: the commitment ladder. Principle number 5. No movement asks for the big commitment first. No business. Even if you see people paying for ads, they never usually try and sell them a 5K program instantly because people don't trust them. First, they give them a free ebook, get their email, start marketing, small steps, and then eventually those small steps lead them to take a big step. Pay for the program, right? They start small, and each small yes makes the next one easier. And this is literally sales. If you're into sales, you know that if you get the prospect to say yes, you're most likely gonna close the sale. Because we humans love consistency. It's much easier for the prospect to say yes when you mention the price because you already got them to say yes many times before. So consistency. With your personal brand, if you want to make money, you don't just immediately try and sell them. First, it could be a like, then it could be a subscribe or a follow, a free community, a free ebook, free course, get their email. And only once the trust is actually built, then you can sell them the coaching, the course, community. Like, it doesn't feel like something hard to do, right? Because I've already said yes 5 times, which is exactly why the 6th feels natural, not risky. Because like I said, we humans are wired for consistency. Once you say yes to something small, a bigger yes with the same values don't feel like a crazy leap. Now, if you actually want to go from watching this to actually building your own profitable personal brand, turn your expertise into cash, then subscribe because I will be breaking this down. And if you're ready to go further, the application is in the description. But if you're not ready yet, no worry. I actually have a free Telegram, a free community in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, just drop a comment down below and I will check it out. And if you have any questions, just comment down below, okay? As usual, I will see you on the other side. Peace out.